quiet here right now, but last night, just a few hours ago, this place was buzzing. So much energy with the audience here and all of the candidates really wanting to introduce themselves to the American people, taking the opportunity, trying to have their breakout moments here in Milwaukee. But you know who took a lot of the attacks last night? It was businessman Vivek Ramaswamy. But he didn't hold back any punches. Take a look at this.
Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie.
The last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
Is there anyone on stage who would not support the increase of more funding to Ukraine?
We would not support it. The reality is that today, Ukraine is not a priority for the United States of America.
The problem that Vivek doesn't understand is he wants to hand Ukraine to Russia. He wants to let China eat Taiwan. He wants to go and stop funding Israel. He will
Of a professional politician. There you have it.
Under your watch,
So
you
the
will
reality
make America less safe. You have no foreign policy experience, and it shows.
And you know what? The foreign policy.
But one thing the candidates could all agree on last night was getting President Biden out of office. Listen.
Should presidents have to pass a mental and physical test in order to serve Vice President Pence?
Well, it might be a good idea to have everybody in Washington, D.C. pass a mental.
Our nation is in trouble, and it's in trouble because of failed leadership. And the solution is not 4 more years of Joseph Biden.
We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline.
Yeah, so last night was also a chance for the candidates to discuss the top issues facing the American people, like the economy, the education system, national security, and more, and why they are the best to solve those issues.
Would you support sending U.S. Special Forces over the border into Mexico?
Yes, and I will do it on day one.
The most pressing need of the American people from a national security standpoint is our southern border. It has led to the death of 70,000 Americans because of fentanyl.
Can't we all agree that we are not going to put a woman in jail or give her the death penalty if she gets an abortion?
And we ought to be funding law enforcement, particularly in our major cities, at unprecedented levels.
More cops in the streets who are on the streets able to do their jobs without looking over their shoulder for getting sued.
The problem is not going to be solved by more money. The problem is that these prosecutors in these localities in the states are refusing to do their job.
There's one guy in this entire country that's ever done anything about that. Me. When we had 2 of these district attorneys in Florida elected with Soros funding who said they wouldn't do their job, I removed them from their post.
Yeah, so as you can see, it was a really exciting night, a lot of fireworks on the stage, and we will see, unclear which candidates we'll see, but next month, September 27th, is the second Republican presidential debate. That'll take place in California. So we'll see which candidates make the polls to qualify.
Absolutely.
That's the day Donald Trump made a blood enemy of the largest and most powerful organization in human history, which would be the federal government.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're back. It's your boy, Benny. Today's Thursday, August 24th, 2023. Tucker and Donald Trump dominate and steal the show last night. We were live for the entire thing, and we're going to recap this morning. But now we got hard numbers for you. 200 million people watched Trump and Tucker blowing out the record for the most watched interview on planet Earth. Vivek Ramaswamy emerged as the absolute dominant force from the debate, and we'll prove to you why. There's a lot of fake news out there saying Nikki Haley won or Ron DeSantis. Nope! It was Vivek, and we have the facts. Mike Davis joins the show along with our favorite rapper, Forgiato Blow, who's in front of the Fulton County Jail today. And we're going to go live on this show from the Fulton County Jail where Donald Trump will be surrendering and getting a mugshot later this evening, and we'll be live for that as well. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. We are rocking and blocking, baby. We'll never stop. We'll never stop. We want to thank all of you for watching last night. We want to say it was record viewership. We had 45,000 people watching concurrently, which is incredible. We just cannot tell you how humbled and honored we are that you would join us and join this community. Last night, we unveiled some new technology that we've been working on here, putting the comments up during the show. We're going to be doing more of that, making sure that you're part of the actual show, making sure that you can ask questions, and the best way to ask questions of the people that we bring on and to directly engage with us is to join our exclusive members-only club, the Benny Brigade. When you join the Benny Brigade, you can be part of this community, you can support independent media, and you can keep us going. You paying $5 a month, it costs $5 a month. If you join for a year, you get a month free, plus you get, come on, your sweet Benny Brigader. The Benny Brigade keychain, which hits in September. We are so close. These are being shipped right now. Right now with your sweet tank. Your tank and your salt shaker on the tank, baby. Come on, you got to have one of these attached to your keychain every morning and join the brigade. We are growing, we are legion, and we are here for you. We will defend you, and we will bring you the news absent all of the corporate trash and garbage. And I'm so excited, ladies and gentlemen, about what happened last night. What happened last night was we broke the machine, okay? And I say the royal we. Now, I did used to work for Tucker Carlson. I know Tucker. We're not in business together or anything like that. But he's my boy. I love Tucker, and I've been an ardent defender of his. We call balls and strikes on this show. I celebrate and am joyous in his success because you cannot trust these multinational corporations. You have Fox News, owned by Australians, right? Like, you cannot trust people with ESG scores and diversity, equity, inclusion departments to run our conservative movement. It's insane. And more importantly, if you're a leftist, you should also want the corporations to not be in total and complete control of your media. You should want independent voices to have clear-eyed visions of things and not the hive mind. I've worked in corporate media, man. I spent my young life working and hustling in corporate media. It is a hive mind, garbage industry that requires that you put away your instincts, your basest instincts, that's why we say based on this show, and that you become essentially a simp. And that is what you see when Donald Trump is interviewed on CNN, for instance. When Donald Trump goes and gets interviewed on CNN, and you have Caitlin Collins there, like just parroting and screeching, "Hey, Mr. President," remember her? Oh, it's so repulsive. She never asks a single question that anyone cares about. Doesn't ask a single question that people would be talking about in coffee shops, in small towns in America, at gas stations, and anything. Nope. Just corporate drivel. Just awful, like, conspiracy theory level stuff that nobody cares. It doesn't connect with anyone. What Tucker Carlson did last night was ask the questions that you and I care about. Yo, hey, Trump. What if they try and kill you? Yo, hey, Trump, did Epstein kill himself? Of course he didn't. What happened to Epstein? Like, what's going on right now in Ukraine? Like, this is a nightmare, right? Like, they're trying to start World War III in Ukraine. Why are they doing that? Like, Joe Biden, who's puppeteering Joe Biden? Tucker was able to ask the things that you and I talk about at our local pub, coffee shop, gas station. The stuff that you go home and talk with your wife about or your husband about. You're sitting there in the kitchen. It's the best time of my day is when our kids are down and my wife and I go downstairs. We have a very early bedtime in my family. We go downstairs and I have there's the basest conversation with my wife around our kitchen island. And we stand there and do the dishes right and clean everything up. And we just are able to jaw about real life. That's the kind of conversation that Tucker Carlson had with Donald Trump last night. We were so honored that you joined us live. Again, we broke every record that we have at this company for live viewership, and we are just getting started. The reason why this interview, and we're going to play you some of the best clips in a moment here, the reason why this interview resonated with people is because there were no ads, there was no corporate filter. Remember, Fox News is in trouble right now for cutting an interview with Tucker Carlson and Stephen Sund, the Capitol Police Chief, where Stephen Sund said that the entire audience was crawling with feds on January 6th. Huh? What? And Fox News wouldn't play it, right? Doesn't fit the agenda. Well, none of that anymore with Tucker. Now we are in charge. And we have broken the media matrix, and it's never going back. It's never going back. Raw, authentic, real, honest conversations. We have them on this show, and now Tucker Carlson is legion with us. Tucker Carlson is now allied and armored with us as we march into failings to one, give you a voice, and to destroy the corporate media complex that's just trying to control you. Man, it's an amazing time. Man, we're excited about it. Okay, baby, let's hop in. Again, the reason why this is viral, no odious ads, no corporate censorship, and no censorship of any kind because it was posted on Elon Musk's platform. The stars are aligning. God loves us, and he ain't done with us yet. Donald Trump on Joe Biden asked Tucker Carlson, this is the kind of stuff that you talk about with your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or whatever when you come home at night, isn't it? You come home, your long day of work, and you're like, yo, Joe Biden, he has dementia, right? Is he even going to make it next 18 months? Like, is he even going to, be able... Like, I saw him fall down the stairs the other day. I saw him fall on a flat surface. Is he even going to be able to make it? This is the kind of conversation I have with my wife. And Tucker Carlson having this conversation with the presumptive Republican nominee, which is, by every measure, you have to essentially just say that Donald Trump is the nominee right now, okay? Everything else is just a debutante ball for Secretary of Education, you know? And so Tucker Carlson can just straight up sit back. You would never hear this. You'd never hear this, on any corporate media. Tucker Carlson just sit back and he's like, yo, Joe Biden, he has got dementia, right? Like, he ain't going to be able to make it, right? He can't walk across flat surface, right? He went to Lehana, he went to Maui, and he made a joke about how the ground was hot and then told everyone to feel sorry for him because one time the water was really hot when he turned on his kitchen sink. And he also felt like his house was on fire. His Corvette could have been burned. Remember that? The guy who fell asleep? The guy who fell asleep during the ceremony? Here's how Trump answered. Oh, it's great.
But Joe is really...
But you don't think he's going to make it to November of 24?
Well, I think he's worse mentally than he is physically. And physically, he's not exactly a triathlete or any kind of an athlete. You look at him, he can't walk to the helicopter. He walks, he can't lift his feet out of the grass. You know, it's only 2 inches at the White House, right? That's not a lot. But you watch him, and it looks like he's walking on toothpicks. So, and then you see him on the beach where he can't lift a chair. You know, those chairs are meant to be light, right? They're like 2 ounces. Yeah. You lift them up. He can't lift the chair. He can't walk to the chair. And I don't know what they're doing with the beach. You know, this beach is seeming to play a big role, but they love pictures of him on the beach. I think he looks terrible on the beach. He looks terrible on the beach.
Skinny legs.
Well, he can't walk through the sand. You know, sand is not that easy to walk through, but when he walks through it, he can't walk through the sand. And there's somebody in there that thinks he looks fabulous at the beach. I think he looks horrible at the beach. Plus, the beach doesn't represent what a president's supposed to be doing. He's supposed to be working.
You guys remember that photo of Donald Trump? Maybe ALX can grab it. The one where Trump has his tie off. And I think that like COVID had hit, and he was walking back like really tired back to the White House after doing a couple rallies, meeting with a number of people, and Trump had his tie off and he's walking into the White House, and this man just works and works and works and works up 16 according to reports, Trump sleeps 3 hours a night, 4 hours a night. The man just never stops. And there was a real value to that, because life is about survival, and you're only here because your ancestors were survivors. There are a lot of people who aren't here today because they didn't have survivalist ancestors that couldn't fight and couldn't work. And our ancestors had much harder lives than we have. And we are blessed to be born in this day and age. And this is what Donald Trump looks like after a long day of grinding and hustling. And this photo was taken at midnight or 1 a.m. Donald Trump returning to the White House, beleaguered and exhausted, to get 2 hours of sleep and then hit it again the next morning. You remember that look? Remember seeing this? Man, it was nice to have a president work as hard as we work. Do you work this hard? Of course you do. We were live till midnight last night. It's nice to have a person reflect the greatness that made America and the working hard of the American spirit. Because we're not supposed to exist as a country. Should have been carved up a long time ago. Civil wars breaking apart. Shouldn't even happen. It's because of this kind of work ethic. The kind of work ethic of Donald Trump. And when you see Joe Biden's old, wrinkly, pale, man boob ass sitting on a beach, well, then you're like, man, first off, Joe Biden's clearly like taking hormones and transitioning. He's in such bad shape. And then secondarily, get that man a bra. And then tertiary, like Joe Biden doesn't reflect what we believe we are as a nation. It's kind of nice to have that. Kind of nice. Check this out. Here's the actual interview on Truth. Correction. Here's the interview on X. 195 million views. Look at that. There it is. This is the most recent view counter. 165,000. 615,000. I mean, these numbers are behind. 200 million views. This is the most viewed interview in the history of the world. And you watched it live with us the second it was published. Again, we just say thank you so much to the brigade, and thank you so much to our viewership here that is growing quickly. It's the fastest growing streaming show, independent streaming show in the world, and we're honored, and we will not let you down. Donald Trump on Truth Social saying, Tucker Carlson interview with me is a blockbuster, could hit 200 million views. Well, there it is. And more. Thank you. Hope it was enjoyed by everyone. Well, let's keep going, baby. Donald Trump on Kamala Harris. Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. Donald Trump on Kamala Harris. Donald Trump paraphrasing one of our favorite comedians, Tim Dillon, which I think is awesome, and the Joe Rogan show, proving that Donald Trump watches Joe Rogan in case the constellation stars need to align even more. Amazing clip here. Watch.
But that would make Kamala Harris the candidate?
Well, not really. I mean, I guess they'd have maybe a free-for-all. A lot of people say she has to remain for certain reasons the candidate. She has to. I don't think that's true, actually. I don't think that other people would stand for it. She has some bad moments. Her moments are almost as bad as his. I think his are worse, actually.
Yeah.
But
she seems pretty senile, too.
She speaks in rhyme. It's weird. It's weird. But she has bad moments. And
in rhyme? What do you...
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there because that's what buses do. And it's weird. The whole thing is weird. This is not a president of the United States future. And I think they probably have some kind of a primary and other people will get involved.
Newsom, right? I
mean, could be. I mean, I always got along well with him, believe it or not. But could be him, could be somebody else.
Oh, man. So great. She speaks in rhyme. This is, I believe, a potential paraphrase of a comedian named Tim Dillon that says that Kamala Harris speaks in gypsy curses. And, oh man, is this hysterical. We're checking to see if we can play you that clip right now. We're going to go and hunt it down. Tim Dillon actually, hey, he's a great comedian. He's on Joe Rogan all the time. Guy's based. Guy's hysterical. We'll see. It'd be great if we found out that Donald Trump watches Joe Rogan, and then next is Donald Trump on Joe Rogan. I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be it. And why wouldn't you want this content? Here's Tucker Carlson going after his former employer, the pinnacle of professional journalist is a man named Chris Wallace. Okay, this is the smug, pretentious asshat on Fox News. You remember this guy, right? Limp wristy. Like, never worked a day in his life, limp wristy, silver spoon, privileged prick. Chris Wallace, the guy who regularly interrupted Donald Trump during the debates in order to favor his best friend and butt buddy, Joe Biden. You remember this guy. I mean, such a repulsive reptile. Chris Wallace. I do not like him. And Tucker doesn't either. This was Tucker Carlson's only, other than like, doing this entire interview, right? Like, this was Tucker Carlson's only, like, direct shot across the bow at Fox News. Oh, but it was beautiful. Tucker Carlson calling Chris Wallace bitchy. Oh, into my veins. Go.
I said, how come, and this was in front of probably not a friend of yours, Chris Wallace. He was the moderator.
Not a friend.
I said, why is it he wants to be Mike, but he doesn't have the talent? It's one of those
bitchy little man.
He wanted to be his father, but he didn't have the talent of his father was great. His father,
little fussy man.
His father interviewed me in 60 Minutes. It was actually a 10. Can you believe it?
No, I totally. His father had talent, at least.
I may have been the only guy that he gave a good 60 Minutes to. He was rough.
Really?
His father was tough. He was great, though. He was great at what he did. But Chris Wallace was so upset. He was guarding this guy who wouldn't do a show, by the way. He wouldn't do. I figured. I didn't mind Chris Wallace because Biden wouldn't do a show. And it was very obvious. He kept asking him, but he wouldn't do the show. So I figured he's got to like me. But he came from a different planet. But remember when I asked the question, why is it that the mayor of Moscow's wife is allowed to give you $3.5 million? Don't forget, that was brought up. Now it's brought up all the time. But that was brought up by me long before anyone ever heard of it. I said, the mayor of Moscow's wife giving you $3.5 million. What did you do to deserve $3.5 million? To Biden. And Chris Wallace said, this has nothing to do with the debate. I mean, he
got in the way of the question.
Of course he did. Because he was there to protect Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden's a Manchurian candidate that isn't real. He's not a real person. Joe Biden isn't real. I'm not saying he has body doubles just yet, okay? Although I'm open to that possibility. I am simply saying that, Joe Biden number 2, Joe Biden number 5, you got to swap them out, got to oil them up. We have clips where Joe Biden looks like different people. I am simply saying that Joe Biden is a creation of the fifth column of people. Doesn't it prove our point here? That Fox News was against you? This was the guy who was moderating the debate. We're going to grab that clip too. This was the guy who was moderating the debate. Chris Wallace. And he was there as a representative of you and me. And Chris Wallace was there, essentially guarding putting up this giant wall around Joe Biden for known corruption. The mayor of Moscow, of course, is Yelena Baturina. It's the wife of the mayor of Moscow. Yelena Baturina gave $3.5 million to Hunter Biden. We know that. We have the bank records. She also is not on the sanction list. Oh, that's really curious. I wonder why that is. Because she knows where all the bodies are buried. And Chris Wallace went and ran interference for Joe Biden during the debates. It's repulsive. We're going to grab the clip. We're going to grab the clip and we're going to play it again. So that you can be summarily repulsed as we are with these kind of just egregious actions that are done in your name. Because remember, this was supposed to be the debate that had a conservative moderator. This is why corporate media is evil. Because they give people like Chris Wallace jobs in your name and say that you're the ones who support Chris Wallace. They're liars. They're liars, and they take advantage of you. And they want to take advantage of Trump. I mean, obviously, they've gone as far as they can. Donald Trump will be arrested again today. We'll get a mugshot today. That's supposed to happen around between 6 and 8 o'clock. So expect us to be live. Outlaw president, we're going to call it. The outlaw president. Expect us to be live tomorrow. Tonight. 6 to 8 is when they expect Donald Trump. So we're going to be rocking and rolling. And we have a report from the courthouse actually coming on this live. We're going to go live to the courthouse right now. We got people everywhere, baby. The brigade is legion. But Tucker's like, they've done everything they can to stop you now. They've thrown everything at the wall. Are they just going to kill you next? They're just going to kill you? They're going to do you like JFK? Watch.
So the reason I'm asking you is I'm looking at the trajectory since 2015 when you got into politics, for real, and then won. It started with protests against you, massive protests, right. Organized protests by the left, and then it moved to impeachment twice,
right.
And now indictment. I mean, the next stage is violence. Are you worried that they're going to try and kill you? Why wouldn't they try and kill you, honestly?
They're savage animals. They are people that are sick, really sick. You have great people in the Democrat Party. You have great people that are Democrats. Most of the people in our country are fantastic, and I'm representing everybody. I'm not just Republicans or conservatives. Right. I represent everybody. I'm the president of everybody.
I'm the president of everyone. Yeah. Yep. So, ladies and gentlemen, we really did reach an inflection point last night. We'll reach an inflection point once more today. I believe that the narrative is breaking, and I believe that these people are going to get desperate. Donald Trump said that the charges against him are, and I quote, bullshit. And we'll see later today. Here's Donald Trump saying so.
I mean, the 4 indictments, and maybe there'll be more. I don't know. These people are crazy.
But they're counterproductive. So if you chart it out, it's an escalation, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So what's next after, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life? That's not working. So, don't they have to kill you now?
I think the people of our country don't get enough credit for how smart they are. And I'm not sure I would have said this 10 years ago, but they get it. They really get it. When somebody gets indicted, your poll numbers go down. When somebody gets indicted, you announce, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be leaving to spend time with my family and to fight for the rest of my life on this stuff. But you're out of politics. I got indicted 4 times. All trivia, nonsense, bullshit. It's all bullshit.
He's right. He's right. There is a machine that cannot allow outsiders in. We're going to cover here in just a moment what Vivek just did to the entire Republican field. We're going to cover here in just a moment exactly how powerful the outsider candidate is and what makes Donald Trump, and why Vivek was a cutout of Trump last night at the debate, and how powerful that was. The entire industry is built around control. This is why we're so proud to be independent. This is why we love you so much. You allow us to be independent by watching the show and supporting the show. We just say thank you. We got no strings to hold us down. Ain't a single person that can tell us what to say. You tell us what to say, meaning we care about you. We're going to broadcast and we're going to speak with you, for you. And that's awesome. What a special time in life. That's never existed before. And that's actually that's the way it should be, quite frankly, in media. The way it was for thousands of years with media and entertainment was people would go to live shows. They'd go to the Grecian or Shakespearean theater. They'd yell at the actors. They'd throw tomatoes. But something weird happened in the last 100 years of American media, where we started to get controlled. We had monodirectional, instead of interactive media, we had monodirectional media, where whether it's Tom Cruise on screen or whether it's an anchor sitting in a chair yelling at you, you had no interaction with the media you were consuming. We got to change that. It should be interactive. That's the way. That's actually the healthiest for society, and it's the best for us as creators to be able to hear from and have connection with our audience. So that's what we're building here. And we're very, very thankful for that. What you get when somebody claims to represent you, like the bitchy man Chris Wallace, is you get moments like this, where Chris Wallace, the Fox News anchor, is representing conservatives during the debate, and he did this in your name. He desecrated truth in your name. This is sick and vindictive, and it's so wrong. And these people are such scum for betraying you. We will never betray you. But a good reminder, watch.
China
with
ate
Mexico.
your lunch. Down
All right,
18%. China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma to deserve $183,000?
None of that is true. Let him answer.
None of that is true. Oh, really?
Totally, Mr. President, Mr. President, please.
Totally discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way, well, wait, he didn't get $3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
he got $3.5 million. That is not true.
Oh, really? Mr. President, it's an open discussion, please.
Now, it's a fact.
Well, you have raised an issue. Let the Vice President answer.
Discredited. Did Burisma pay him $183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr. President,
my son did nothing wrong at Burisma. I think he did.
Mr. President, let him answer.
He doesn't want to let me answer because he knows I have the truth. His position has been totally, thoroughly discredited. By who? And the media? By everybody. Well, by the media, by our allies, by the World Bank, by everyone has discredited. Matter of fact, even the people who testified.
Do you hear that? Do you hear Chris Wallace in your name lying to the nation? The only reason Chris Wallace has that job was because we watched Fox News. The only reason that Chris Wallace had that position to go in there and to lie, because you can see right here on your screen, from the right-wing news site, Newsweek, you actually can't get more left-wing, from the propaganda site, Newsweek, saying, yeah, actually this is true. Hunter Biden received $3.5 million payment from ex-Moscow mayor's wife. They have to add Republican report says, but the Republican report has the bank accounts of the Bidens. Straight from the Treasury. So, Chris Wallace was lying. Joe Biden was lying. And instead of doing his job as a moderator to say, hey, Joe, do you have any evidence that this didn't happen? Like, this is a pretty devastating allegation. Chris Wallace helps him lie in your name. Chris Wallace takes the value of us as media consumers and then weaponizes it against you and against your candidate. Ooh. Oh, it's enough to get your blood boiling. It really is. Let's take the heat off with a joke that Donald Trump paraphrased about Kamala Harris. Here's the original joke from Tim Dillon. Donald Trump saying that Kamala Harris speaks in rhyme. Tim Dillon saying Kamala Harris speaks in gypsy curses. Hysterical. This proves that Donald Trump watches Joe Rogan. Come on, man. How much better can the night get? Here we go.
One more year from now.
There's no way.
How?
Newsom is coming up and trying to run. There are other people that are circling. I don't think he runs again. I can't see it. I don't see it.
How do you think they get Kamala Harris to step down? Because she's rightfully, if he steps down, until
Kamala Harris cannot say a sentence. It's almost she's almost worse than him. She talks in like gypsy curses. When they ask her something, she'll be like, "My grandma said that a hive of bees is still bees if you bury it." And you're like, "What the fuck is this bitch saying?"
Gypsy curses.
That's how she speaks. The woman has no idea what's going on.
Okay. Okay. So this is my fault. Sorry, we try not to drop F-bombs on the show. This is my fault for asking for media in the middle of the show. So, my apologies. We do our best to have a family-friendly show here. Every once in a while, things slip through. Joe Rogan has an adult program with adult language. And, again, my apologies. I hope that, if you can look, I hope you enjoyed it, all right? We're all, hopefully, adults here. And, ladies and gentlemen, we are doing our best. Doing our best to have a good time and keep up the esprit de corps, all right? What a great moment in time. What a blessing that we have. What a blessing we have to be living in this time, in this moment, in this media ecosystem. How great is that? So, let's recap here. That's Joe Rogan. He's the most listened to man in the world, inarguably. Joe Rogan has 15 to 20 million people download his podcast per show, right? Tucker Carlson, on his platform, which is Twitter, X, he has 200 million views on this. We're winning. Don't let anyone gaslight you. We're winning. We're winning. That's Joe Rogan belly laughing at jokes about Kamala Harris being a gypsy curse, burying a hive of bees. Belly laughing, rolling over on his show. And here's Tucker Carlson sticking his thumb in the eye of the corporate press and saying, I can do it better, and doing it better. Now, we don't know the ratings for Fox News' debate last night just yet, but we will find out, and I will tell you this, it won't be 200 million people. I can tell you. I would doubt that it's 10 million. I would doubt that it's a teeny fraction. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we carry onward into the debate and into our recap of the debate from last night. What keeps us going? Well, we are healthy on this program. We must be healthy for our children. Your children that hopefully weren't listening to that F-bomb there. We must be healthy. We must nourish them, and that is why we subscribe to our favorite meat company, Moink. Moink is the company that keeps my family going with their delicious meats that are delivered directly from our local farms here in America. The local farmer, of course, does it right, does it chemical-free, and does it in a way that's going to just taste better. It's the best bacon I've ever had in my life. That is a fact. That's a matter of fact. And listen, I grew up in Iowa. I grew up effectively surrounded by hog farms, working on hog farms. I know good bacon. If you sign up right now to keep America and America's farmers going and to keep them out of the control of China, you'll get free ground beef for a year. Free ground beef for a year. Go to moink, moink.com/Benny. By the way, this video isn't sent. This is my video of my grill. Me grilling my dinner with Moink. Go to moinkbox.com/Benny. Moinkbox.com/Benny. Spelled MOINK. All right, ladies and gentlemen. On to the next secondary event, which is the debate. The debate was a interesting squabble, as headlines are putting it. Chris Christie rips amateur Vivek Ramaswamy and then body shames him. No, for real, we have the clip. Says he sounds like ChatGPT. So effectively the debate was Mike Pence, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott arguing with Vivek, who was the cutout for Trump. It's Indian Trump. Vivek studied Trump. I'm telling you, man. He studied Trump. He went through, he rewatched all the debates from 2016, and Vivek's like, how do I keep the conversation going with me at the center of it? And Vivek was center stage. Everyone else sort of dropped off. So it was effectively a bunch of Democrats arguing against Vivek. Because that's really like the position that they're all taking. They're all like, it is indistinguishable. The Nikki Haley's and the Chris Christie's and the Mike Pence's, it is indistinguishable. Them and your average mainstream Democrat. They are the same people. The Uniparty is powerful and real. And that neocon rhino reflex in musculature in the Republican Party, that's for real. You saw what a Republican Party looks like without Trump. Now, if Trump is the nominee, who would support him? The debate was asked. And here's how people answered by raising their hands. Check out this clip.
He's been indicted in 4 different states on 91 counts. He will be processed tomorrow in Georgia at the Fulton County Jail for charges relating to the 2020 election loss.
You all signed a pledge to support the eventual Republican nominee. If former President Trump is convicted in a court of law, would you still support him as your party's choice? Please raise your hand if you would. Just hold on. So just to be clear, Governor Christie, you were kind of late to the game there, but you raised your hand?
No, I'm doing this. Look, I'm doing this.
And I know you didn't.
Whoa. No, come.
Oh, okay. Got it, Crisp. Good old Crisp Crispy. So, the big brawl of the night, the biggest brawl of the night, there were a number of them. We're going to get to all of them. They're very entertaining, actually. The biggest brawl of the night, and again, I have to frame it this way. Vivek Ramaswamy is the cutout for Trump. Vivek did his homework. Vivek probably has a 150 IQ. He is a multimillionaire, maybe a billion. I don't know. I don't know how much money he has. He's clearly very wealthy, made a ton of money, and is now running for president. He's 38 years old. Vivek studied Trump and studied Trump's debates, even studied Trump's actions during the debates. There are clips where you can see like Vivek's hand like peeking into the shot, right? When other candidates are trying to answer, the way that Trump used to do it. And Vivek always having people coming at him proved that everyone was centered around him, and the man with all the center of attention is going to get the most airtime, and that's really what matters. Ooh! It's smart. It's smart. Also, I don't want to tell you that it was all just flashbang here, you know? There was plenty of substance to what Vivek was saying. And Vivek saying essentially, I will end the Ukraine war is a position that virtually the entire Republican base wants. Nobody wants another dollar spent in Ukraine. Am I wrong? Like nobody in real America, nobody in the Democrat, like if you go to downtown Atlanta, across the street from where they're going to indict Trump today. And go ask people who live there in the housing projects if they want more money spent in Ukraine. This is a cross-party, populist anthem that we should be galvanizing with. I mean, you could get 25% of the Democrat base to vote for you if you became the candidate that would stop funding Ukraine and stop funding foreign countries and start funding here in America. Vivek was that guy. He was the only one that said he would stop funding the Ukraine war. And this is what happened to him.
The U.S. has committed nearly $77 billion in aid to the Ukraine war. The administration is now asking Congress for $24 billion more. Regardless of that, the specifics of that plan, is there anyone on stage who would not support the increase of more funding to Ukraine?
We would
not support it.
Europe needs to step up. I mean, I would have Europe step up and do their job.
All right, Mr. Ramaswamy, but you're saying you would not too, Governor DeSantis?
I will have Europe pull their weight. Right now, they're not doing that.
You would not support
and I think we need
more
to do, and I think our support should be contingent on them doing it. And I would have support in China to be able to take China and do what we need to do with China.
Oh, what's up? You see that? You see what he did? He did this. Interesting. Vivek was having a good time. You can always tell the people who are having a good time. All right? You can always tell the people that are like vibing. When you join when you're in here in our audience, we're like vibing. We're vibing. We're just chilling out. We're chilling out. Put a comment on screen. Grab a comment, let's toss it on the screen. We just chill out all day. We love you. We're relaxed. Vivek was relaxed last night. Vivek was fired during the debate, says Mario Tabu. I hope that's the right pronunciation of her name. These are like, we love you. We just vibing, okay? Vivek was just vibing. You can always tell the people are stiff and like really worried. Nah, man. Like, we're comfortable. We love this audience. Jazz hands, LOL. Thanks, Broken Prophet. You have a great beard, by the way. Man, I wish I could grow a beard like that. So, we are like vibing the way that, and the people who are the most comfortable, the people that are the most calm and like chill at these debates are the ones who win. People absorb that energy. They gravitate to that energy. They like that. It's the cool guy energy. And so Vivek straight up was like trolling Ron DeSantis. Dude, he was like finger in the wind, right? Finger in the wind. Ron DeSantis is doing the poll testing thing about Ukraine. And he was trolling him to his face and having a good old-fashioned time with it while saying and calling out people like Crisp Crispy, who really stressed out the food supply lines when he visited Ukraine in a weird impromptu visit for some reason. Crisp Crispy went there and went to the, I guess, Ukraine battlefield. I have no idea how close he was to actual war. I doubt remotely close at all. And he was called out to his face for that by Vivek, saying that he went to go visit the Pope of Ukraine, Zelensky, and grovel at his feet. What a savage line. Check it.
Mr. Ramaswamy, you would not support an increase of funding to Ukraine?
I would not. And I think that this is disastrous, that we are protecting against an invasion across somebody else's border when we should use those same military resources to prevent across the invasion of our own southern border here in the United States of America. We are driving Russia further into China's hands. The Russia-China alliance is the single greatest threat we face. And I find it offensive that we have professional politicians on the stage that will make a pilgrimage to Kyiv, to their Pope, Zelensky, without doing the same thing for people in Maui or the south side of Chicago or Kensington. I think that we have to put the interests of Americans first, secure our own border instead of somebody else's. And the reality is, this is also how we project strength by making America strong at home.
So you're right. I saw a comment zip by. We watched the comments. The comments are on a huge screen in front of me in the studio, okay? So I always want to be able to see what people are saying, especially during the clips. We watch. We deeply care about you. We deeply care about this, and we're working on getting the comments on screen during our show. We're working on it. We're going to put the comments were on screen last night. We're going to have the comments up. We want you to be part of the show. We want your conversation to be part of what is visually presented here. You are fighting with us in the brigade. It's awesome. I saw a comment saying, nobody talked about Hawaii. Nobody talked about Maui last night. And that, I think, was one of the few times, correct me if I'm wrong, ALX, producer ALX, one of the few times that somebody even mentioned Maui. Vivek saying, yo, why are you guys going and sucking the toes of Zelensky in Ukraine, and none of y'all have gone to Maui? Crisp Crispy hasn't gone to Maui. Well, one, because just like Guam, it might tip over if he landed. And two, you don't care about your fellow Americans? We went with Vivek to Kensington in Philadelphia, where there's like a zombie city. We did an entire documentary on it. We traveled with him there, and it was wild. Vivek was like talking with people, drug addicts, like open sores and wounds on the street. Like, at the very least, try and look like you care. But Chris Crispy couldn't be insulted in such a manner, so instead he body shames Vivek. Watch.
People are dying of bad climate change policies than they are of actual climate change.
Governor Haley, are you bought and paid for?
Down by
Hold on.
in the last century.
Listen.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here. And the last person in one of these debates, Brett, who stood in the middle of the stage and said, "What's a skinny guy with an odd last name doing up here?" was Barack Obama, and I'm afraid we're dealing with the same type of amateur standing on stage tonight.
Come over and give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did to Obama.
The same type of amateur.
And you'll help elect me just like you did to Obama, too. Give me that
the same type of amateur.
Hold on.
Look at that. There's the photo. Isn't that great? Go give me a hug like you did Obama. Look at this. Crispy. Just absolutely like gobbling up. Using Obama as a toothpick, baby. Going in. Oh, just motorboating. And he was called out to his face. Give me a hug like you did Obama. Did you see him? Isn't it interesting how the person who's the most chill, the person who's most relaxed, the person who doesn't get flustered, like is the one who's going to win just based on the fact that like you already know the cool guy when you see him. You already know the dude. You already know the James Dean. You already know the guy. Like it's a vibe. Vivek was calm, cool, and collected even with the former vice president of the United States coming at him hard. The real battle was between Vivek and Pence. Okay, and I'm trying to say his name correctly. It is Vivek like cake. Everyone said it wrong last night, including Nikki Haley, which is super racist. So Pence came hard at Vivek, and multiple times. Clearly, they were going after him as the cutout for Trump. This is what Pence would have done to Donald Trump, right? This is why it was smart for Donald Trump to skip the debates. The big question: would you pardon Donald Trump? Check this out.
As promised, we were going to spend a few questions on it, let people say what they wanted to say, and now, indeed, we are moving on to the subject.
The U.S. has committed nearly 77.
Can I speak on this issue? I was
you
kind of
did
involved.
you answered on this.
You did say
answer.
something.
Yeah.
We thought you were done, but you
no, I
please.
wasn't done.
Well, Mike, why don't you say this? Join me in making a commitment that on day one you would pardon Donald Trump. I'm the only candidate on the stage who had the courage to actually say it. That is how we move our nation forward.
I don't know
and
why
turn the
you
page
assume
forward.
that
That's
Donald
exactly
Trump
right.
will be convicted of these crimes.
You should be able to make a commitment. The same justice system that was this
Vivek,
corrupt.
here's the difference between you and me.
Yeah, I'm not a professional politician. That's the difference. Who can answer a question?
I've actually given pardons when I was governor of the state of Indiana. It usually follows a finding of guilt and contrition by the individual that's been convicted. So, look, if I'm president of the United States, we'll give fair consideration to any pardon request. But if I may,
Mike Pence had the worst night. There's no way around it. Did you watch the debate? If you did, you'll know that Mike Pence had the worst night. That's what I would argue. Because he proved what a fraud he is. Listen, it's interesting to hear Tucker Carlson talk about Mike Pence. You know that Tucker Carlson ended Mike Pence's career, right? Not my concern is now a bumper sticker when Mike Pence talking about America and Americans' struggles. They're not my concern. Tucker Carlson talks about Mike Pence and just like Mike Pence more than any other politician creeps me out, is what Tucker Carlson says. Creeps me out. He's known Pence for like decades. And watched Pence do media hits for decades. And like been the interviewee and the interviewer of Mike Pence. It's like, this guy is a reptile. This guy just like such a chameleon. And he's just so creepy. And he's a slithering snake. I mean, he really is. Really is. It's incredible to watch the scales come off. And for people to really see who Mike Pence is. And they saw that last night. Mike Pence got booed off the stage. This is the only person that got booed off the stage was Mike Pence last night. Check this out.
I balanced budgets and cut taxes when I was governor. I mean, look, Joe Biden has weakened this country at home and abroad. Now is not the time for on-the-job training. We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience. We need to bring people.
It's 30 seconds when you have a rebuttal, okay?
Okay, so he got booed off stage. So I want to talk about why this was smart for Donald Trump not to go. I want to talk about it because it seems semi-antithetical. But there's a reason. So the way that these debates are structured, you're like, wait a second, how are people cheering for Chris Christie? How are people cheering for Mike Pence every once in a while, right? How are people cheering for Nikki Haley? Whoa, what's that about? There's a reason. And it's because the way that these debates go is the candidates won't go and debate unless they get a certain apportionment of seats. So it's very much like a WWE, very much like a brawl, boxing ring, NFL game, I don't care, whatever. It's a sports team thing. And so you want to have people wearing your jersey in the audience to give you a little boost. And what happens is you can actually rig the audience against the people on stage and swagger jack them. Nobody likes to be heckled off stage. Nobody likes to be booed. Nobody likes to have their jokes land flat. And that's what was the goal last night, as clearly evidenced by some of the audience reactions. They did this to Trump. We went back actually into history, and we went back with our team in the small hours of the morning last night. I was like, I remember Donald Trump saying, whoa, why are you booing me? That's because you've rigged the audience with all your donors. With all your donors. And they did. This is what they were planning to do to Donald Trump. They were planning on having a rigged audience that was packed full of like Mike Pence people and Nikki Haley people and anti-Trumps. They're just going to pack the audience with anti-Trump people. And then they were going to boo Donald Trump. That was supposed to be the narrative last night. They already did it once in 2016. Do you remember? Flashback.
Let me talk quiet.
How tough
a lot of times, that's all of his donors and special interests out there. So that's what it is. That's what. And by the way, let me just tell you, we needed tickets. You can't get them. You know who has the tickets for the? I'm talking about to the television audience. Donors, special interest, the people that are putting up the money. So it is. The RNC told us we have all donors in the audience, and the reason they're not loving me, the reason they're not loving me is I don't want their money. I'm going to do the right thing for the American public. I don't want their money. I don't need their money, and I'm the only one up here that can say that. Eminent domain.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Did you watch last night? Oh, man. Check this out from Vivek. Just in case you're wondering who did debate prep, this tweet. The moment of the night, Vivek Ramaswamy triggers the entire GOP stage by calling them out for being bought and paid for. Let me read it to you. This is what Vivek said last night. I'm the only person on this stage who isn't bought and paid for. It's the same line. He just went and studied every Trump debate. So I can say this, climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax. The reality is the anti-carbon agenda is the wet blanket on our economy. Dude, is that all you need? That's all you need. That's all you need to see. He went and he studied Trump. And that is why Vivek won the debate. That is why he won the debate. Ladies and gentlemen, walking away. And we have the proof of that, actually. That is what the data now shows. The data is showing here from the Daily Mail that their instant polling shows that Vivek just dominated. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm learning the name the same way you are. Ron DeSantis coming in relatively close, and then everyone just kind of falls off a cliff after that. Whoa. Just crazy. Who had the best debate performance? Vivek walking away. And then, more importantly, the instant reactions from Republicans live on CNN watching the debate. This is really interesting. So they have these focus groups. These are Iowa Republicans, CNN broadcast. This is good because what they do, one, you have a liberal network, so they're trying as hard as they can not to pack the room full of Trump supporters. And they're probably doing their best, I would argue, to do people who are anti-Trump, right? So it's CNN, right? So CNN packs a bunch of Iowa Republicans together. They all watch the debate, and then they go instantly to them after it, and here's what they said.
Here's what I want to ask you about who you thought did the best during this debate. Basically, who do you think won the debate? I'm going to do it in alphabetical order to be fair. Anyone think Doug Burgum did the best? That's 0. Anyone think Chris Christie did the best? He certainly got most of the airtime. A lot of the airtime, not most of the airtime. How about Ron DeSantis? How many of you think Ron DeSantis did the best? That's 2 people. How about Nikki Haley? 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Asa Hutchinson? Mike Pence? 0. Vivek Ramaswamy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Tim Scott? Okay, so this panel here thinks Ramaswamy won the debate. Tell me why you think.
Come on. Did you see that? Did you also see how it was young people? Now, of course, Donald Trump was on the debate today, so he wasn't part of the question, but like it was all the young people that were like, yep, Vivek, crushing. Come on, baby. Come on. So it was moments like this. It was moments like this that really like brought this forward. I'll give you like I'll give you the final. I'll give you a bunch of people trying to rip the bark off him. It's moments like this where it's clear that he's just studying Trump. He's just the understudy of Donald Trump. He's a Padawan learner. Check this out. Protect our borders, not Ukraine. Power. Watch.
Reality is that today, Ukraine is not a priority for the United States of America. And I think that the same people who took us into the Iraq War, the same people who took us into the Vietnam War, you cannot end it. You cannot start another no-win war. And I do not want to get to the point where we're sending our military resources abroad when we could be better using them here at home to protect our own borders, protect the homeland.
All right.
That will be my top priority in foreign policy.
I think we gave you
protect
more
this
than the 30
homeland.
seconds.
Boom. That's Trumpism right there. That's populism. It's just populism. It's just populism. Vivek Ramaswamy is the top Google search result, beating all others by a matter of 4x searches, and he's also trending on Twitter. So they killed Prigozhin in Russia, shot down his plane, and Vivek is the top search. It's crazy, man. Whoa. Trending on Twitter big time. I'm fairly certain that Vivek is the top trending subject on Twitter, possibly behind Tucker Carlson. And the RNC showing its colors, proving that this was most likely a Donald Trump setup. They banned Don Jr., his son, and Kimberly Guilfoyle from the spin room. Spin room is, of course, you know what a spin room is. They sometimes the candidates, but all their surrogates go and trot in there and are like, yo, here's why my candidate won. Donald Trump and Kimberly Guilfoyle not able to enter the room. Security escorted them out. Watch.
Right now, trying to ban people from actually having discourse about politics.
How un-American.
Probably shouldn't surprise any of us. But that's what it is. And I've been told by others that I would be able to go in. So they said we were able to go in, then they said they weren't. Now that we're here, and the candidate that
said you can't go in the spin room.
They're telling me right now, Fox won't let me into the spin room.
That's what the American people should know. This is the kind of
they're telling him
he
he works for security here, but they're telling him that I'm not allowed to go in there because the candidates that they've been boosting while simultaneously trying to cut down Trump for the last 2 years didn't perform as they had hoped. So they can't have someone who can maybe be a representative of my father. Just like a few weeks ago when I was canceled after the first indictment, I was scheduled to go on. And about 5 minutes before I'm on, I found out I'm no longer on because apparently I wouldn't be a great surrogate to talk about my father's indictment.
So the Trumps are saying the game is rigged. Trumps are saying the game is rigged. So we'll see. And we'll see certainly later today. We'll be on for the arrest of Donald Trump in Fulton County, Georgia. We will be rolling. It'll probably be hours like last time, and we will bring you all of the TikTok of what's going on, and we certainly will be bringing you the experts, and we'll be bringing you people outside of the courthouse, which is already raucous. Wild. We are seeing tons of media rolling through. You do not want to be off your phone. Please join us for Outlaw President, our Outlaw President special. If you are creeped out, however, by your cell phone, there are moments where you can get creeped out by your cell phone. If you say the word outlaw president and then you open up your phone and you have, like, I don't know, westerns suggested to you for movies, your phone's always listening to you. And that can get you a little unnerving at times, especially if you're like going to bed and your phone's right by your head. That's why I use Silent. Silent is here we go, I got one right here. It is what I put my phone in when I go to bed. It is a privacy, security blanket for me to make sure that there is no weird radiation and no weird listening that happens to me from my devices when I wish for privacy. That is why it is called Silent. Silent is a light and portable Faraday sleeve for your mobile device that protects your privacy, security, and health. Go to silent.com today. Silent, SLNT.com. Use the code Benny at checkout. Save 10% on qualified orders. It's very simple. It's very easy, very sleek. And it's a good company, patriotic company that wants to protect your privacy, your data, and your health. Ladies and gentlemen, probably shouldn't be glued to the phones all day. Unfortunately, in these news cycles, we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. And we won't stay silent. We won't. Dan Bongino didn't stay silent yesterday when he recommended something very interesting. And we'll be joined in just a moment by Mike Davis to comment on this. Dan Bongino saying that Donald Trump shouldn't post bond today. Should force Fannie Willis to lock him up. Take over the entire jail. Free all the murderers in Atlanta onto the street. Oh, man. This is interesting. Check this out from our boy Dan Bongino.
Folks, I don't think the Trump team should post the bond. I don't. This may sound like a crazy idea, but folks, we're living in crazy times. And crazy times require different, crazy, bold approaches. Fannie Willis wants to be a smart-ass tyrant, little socialist communist like she is down in Fulton County, Georgia. Don't post. Don't post the bond. You know, jail him? Let's elect our first political prisoner. Go ahead. Go to jail. Let the Secret Service shut the entire jail down, and we'll see how long you're willing to keep this charade going. Let them put him in jail for a bit. Folks, I know it sounds crazy. Let the Secret Service shut that entire floor down, because remember, Title 18 USC 3056 and I believe 1752. The Secret Service has the absolute federal authority, the supremacy clause. They can declare anything a federally protected area, even a prison cell. They can clear out that entire wing of the prison and make sure Donald Trump never sees another human being in that prison other than the Secret Service. I wouldn't post.
So what's going to happen? What's going to happen today? Well, of course, to answer those questions, we will bring on our in-house lawyer, the great Mike Davis. Mike, I'm sorry. People are so interested in what's going on. It's just a wild news cycle right now. Should Donald Trump not post bail?
That'd be very interesting. I mean, you have to ask, why does Fannie Willis think that a former president of the United States, one of the most recognizable figures on the planet, who has a 27 Secret Service protective detail, law enforcement agents following every one of his moves, does Fannie Willis think that Donald Trump is really a flight risk here? I mean, give me a break. This is part of the charade by the Democrats. This is lawfare. This is election interference. She's clearly coordinating with the Biden Justice Department, including Jack Smith. She was asked about that at her press conference, and she refused to answer. And it seems like that was the only thing that she refused to answer. I mean, she talked. She talked way too much, and then she couldn't answer whether she's coordinating with Jack Smith and the Biden Justice Department. I hope that she does release this mugshot of President Trump, this trophy that the left has wanted for so many years, because it's going to backfire them. They're so stupid that they don't understand that when you release this mugshot of President Trump, it's going to offend the American people, and it's going to help him politically. It's going to put President Trump back in the White House.
So, a couple of things. One, talk, being long-winded. I deeply apologize for the delay in getting to you today. I'm also guilty of said thing, but aren't the Democrats here guilty of racketeering?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be able to flip this charge directly around on them with their coordinated efforts to go after Donald Trump? I mean, wouldn't this be racketeering to rig an American election process? Wouldn't when in your 3-week reign of terror, couldn't you bring racketeering charges against Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, all the way down through the tree of Alvin Bragg, Fannie Willis?
Yeah, I mean, during my 3-week reign of terror as Trump's acting attorney general, before I leave town with my pardon from President Trump, I have 5 lists that I'm ready to go, Ben. And list number 1 is fire. I'm going to fire as many people as I can. And list number 2 is an indictment. Frankly, I can indict a ham sandwich, and these goofball Democrat prosecutors like Alvin Bragg and Jack Smith and Fannie Willis and the civil fraud prosecutor Tish James up in New York, and we may have 2 other goofballs, Michigan Attorney General and this Arizona Attorney General, who only won because they committed fraud out there. They shut down the election in Arizona. They sent the wrong ballots out, the wrong ballot sizes. People checked in, and then they waited in line. They couldn't vote. They got sent to another place. They were checked in at the prior place, and the Democrats wouldn't object it to a 3-hour extension of the election so these people would vote. Otherwise, there's no chance that this Arizona Attorney General would even be in office right now. But now this Arizona Attorney General, who only got in because the Democrats disenfranchised Republican voters, is now going to go after Trump like the rest of these goofballs and Democrat hellholes. To these Democrats, please keep going. Like Donald Trump said, President Trump said, I only need 1 more indictment.
Yeah, I only need 1 more indictment to be president. It really is the iron law of wokeism, though, isn't it? It's just complete projection. Everything that you are guilty of, whether it be racism or rigging elections, like you are going to project that onto your enemies. That is the iron law. They are committing racketeering charges. They are racketeering right now. They are colluding in order to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. Now, it's going to backfire, but it does like ring so true that what they're going after Trump for, they are guilty of. Especially in Georgia, which is such a ham-fisted. I mean, the Georgia thing is like almost more embarrassing than Alvin Bragg, what he brought against Trump. Am I wrong?
They're both pretty stupid indictments, but I guess it's a race to the bottom by these dumb woke Democrat prosecutors. But I would say this: there is a federal law there's a federal criminal statute. It's called conspiracy against rights. And I guarantee you that when Trump's back in office, his acting attorney general, will be probably appointing a special counsel to look at this obvious conspiracy against rights, where you have these government officials who are using their government power to go after individuals, President Trump, 18 other co-defendants, because they're exercising their rights. They're exercising their First Amendment rights to redress government. That is a conspiracy against rights. That is a felony, right? That is a serious crime, and they're going to have a healthy dose of their own medicine when Trump is back in the White House.
You're seeing all these mugshots come out of the Fulton County Jail. Most of them are lawyers. What does this mean for your profession?
I mean, it means that the Democrats have turned America into a third world Marxist hellhole. And this is exactly what you and I have been discussing, Ben, for the last year, going back to the Mar-a-Lago. This is predictable and predicted. This is a 5-month lawfare against President Trump. Alvin Bragg for the non-crime of a businessman settling a nuisance claim. Jack Smith for the non-crime of a former president having his presidential records in the office of former president, which is allowed by the Presidential Records Act. And both Jack Smith and Fannie Willis for the non-crime of objecting to a presidential election, which is allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887, and twisting arms politically is allowed by the First Amendment. And then there's the civil fraud by New York Attorney General Tish James for the non-fraud of a businessman paying back sophisticated Wall Street banks in full with interest. These are goofballs. This is all a fraud against the American people. This is not real. These are not real crimes. This is obvious lawfare. They're obviously colluding. They waited 30 months after President Trump left office to all of a sudden race to bring all these charges. And after they waited 30 months, they're telling these Democrat judges and these Democrat hellholes, oh, we have to have these trials very fast. It's urgent that we have these trials. And they stack them between now through the Republican primary and up until the general election. Why do they have to do it now? Why can't they wait until after the American people vote on November 5th, 2024. Why are they interfering in this election? And the reason is obvious. They fear that President Trump is going to beat Joe Biden like a drum on November 5th, 2024.
Yes. And I believe that like they are going to assist in that. So like shockingly so. But that's just biblical justice for you, right? You'd like your evil plans will be turned inside out. And it's going to be delightful. Our final question for you, Mike, from Joseph McDonald, the Benny Brigade question of the day, directly for Mike Davis, sent in by a great patriot, Joseph McDonald. Mike, thank you for all that you do. When Trump wins in 24, would you be likely serving on his staff? If possible, could you explain your priorities while serving? Uh-oh. Here we go. Reign of terror.
As Trump's acting attorney general for 3 weeks during my reign of terror, I have 5 lists. Number 1 is fire. Number 2 is indict. Number 3 is deport. Number 4 is detain, and like DC Gulag or Gitmo for our worst enemies like Joe Biden and every one of his family members, except for the 5-year-old granddaughter who they finally acknowledged after 5 years. And list number 5 is recommended pardons, and every Republican in this lawfare will get a recommended pardon, and then we're just going to bring. I call it the dead chicken strategy. We're going to bring holy hell against Biden and these Democrats to give them a healthy dose of their own medicine so they lose the taste for this lawfare against Republicans.
That's exactly right. Mutual assured destruction. It's very great. It's a really good tactic, actually.
Yep.
Mike Davis, thank you so much. He's someone that the left does truly fear. You have to actually have people that the left fears, and Mike Davis is one of them. Please follow Mike on X. 137,000 people can't be wrong, and support Mike at the Article 3 Project. Godspeed, Mike.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mike Davis just previewed what may happen today and what will happen in a Trump term 2.0. Trust me, I know a thing about a lot of things. Mike Davis is beloved by Team Trump and is not just blowing smoke when he says that he has a list. Mike Davis is ready to go, and he doesn't have any friends in D.C. He does live in D.C., but he doesn't have any friends. This is the guy who got us the Trump Supreme Court. Mike Davis is a bare-knuckle brawler. We're so honored to have him on the show. So honored to call him our in-house attorney here at the Benny Show. So somebody is also in-house, or I guess technically on the streets, in front of the courthouse. His name is Forgiato Blow. He's a rapper, MAGA rapper. He has a couple of chart-topping bangers and hits. He's a big-time Trump supporter and is a fantastic patriot. You should totally support his work. Here's a clip of Forgiato out front of the courthouse from minutes ago, and then we'll be joined live by Forgiato. Check this out.
You see, we out here supporting Trump. Trump outside. Hey! My brother Maurice, what up, what up? I'm here with Forgiato Blow, the man with the plan. Blacks for Trump, baby. We out here for President Donald J. Trump. Everybody who said they support Trump, we know who really support Trump out here. That's it. Y'all supposed to be out here. Forgiato Blow, I love your last song. See those boys right there? Those are Sambo sellout black Negro. Hateful bastards from here. We know Trump's innocent. Yeah. They say Trump ain't got no black support. What's up?
Come on, man. This is great. In front of the courthouse. What a vibe. This is going to be a different one. Today's going to be a different one. We're excited about this. Today's going to be a different day. Are you ready? Can you feel the energy shift? Joining us now from, I believe, live in front of the Fulton County Courthouse, Forgiato Blow. All right. Hey, Forgiato. What's up, man? Okay, we are live. Show me.
We get the signs up. We got some patriots out here. Got America out here. We got a crazy situation here. They have literally probably 250 armed guards here, right,
Wow.
for a peaceful protest. They put barricades on top of barricades here. It's pretty crazy out here. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of people supporting Donald Trump. What about that debate last night, huh?
Yeah. How does Donald Trump win a debate he doesn't even show up for? It's great.
Well, Donald Trump wins a debate. I think it was great that he didn't go to debate. Nobody on that debate stand is even supposed to be on a stage near that man. And everybody on there pretty much got their career from Donald Trump.
Forgiato, can you show me your shirt?
Yeah.
What kind of shirt you wearing? Let me see that drip.
Well, stay on. I want
MAGA fit.
I want to show you somebody here, though, if I can get
Okay.
him. I'm going to do some running and catch him. Hold on.
Isn't this great? Ladies and gentlemen, isn't this great? You got to support Forgiato, support his music.
Hold on. He ran
Look at him go.
Hold on.
What a show, man. What a time to be alive.
Great.
Check this out. There he goes.
He's back.
Oh no! It's that guy.
He's back. No.
It's the jailbird guy. Dude, weren't you
Hey, come on, my man. What you got to say? You on a big show right now. I got to believe, man. He's out of here.
Wasn't he arrested in Florida? How is he free? Didn't the guy get arrested?
He's back. He's going to get locked up again? No, I already told him he's going to get locked up. And he has people out here dressed as rats with him, Republicans against Trump, and they're selling peanuts.
Oh, man. He's the Hamburglar. The Hamburglar.
I had to show you that guy. But like I said, it's about 500-600 people out here. They got the streets blocked off. They're not letting people through anymore.
I love this. I love Forgiato. This needs to be a regular segment. Forgiato on the block.
Listen, you have the best show and the best team there is.
Okay, so tell me about the vibe. What, are there a lot of Trump supporters out?
Yeah, a lot of Trump supporters. There's 2 or 3 people out here that are negative that are getting paid, like the guy in the jail suit. Let me walk back through here, give you some more people. There's more people over here now.
Mm-hmm. Are these? I've seen this group, Blacks for Trump. Can you tell me more about them?
That's my boy right there. Blacks for Trump. They're here. My boy Maurice. They're all up here from Miami. We got news stations out here.
Okay, that looks like Fox station. The jail cell guy. A lot of cops. Like people have been peaceful though, right? I mean, it's like the peaceful vibe. It's like people just love their country.
There's no violence. Everybody's very happy. Everybody's loving America.
But there's a lot of police presence.
Benny Johnson, say what's up to Benny.
What's up?
Savvy on Twitter.
What's going on? Okay, it's a vibe. Forgiato, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back on live later this afternoon. Are you gonna be there when Donald Trump shows up?
Yes, sir. I'm not going nowhere. Come back to me.
Okay. All right, Forgiato. What do you wanna hype right now? Where do you wanna?
I got this.
What do you got out right now?
Forgiato Blow. Trump saved the USA. It's all about Trump. Trump saved the USA, my brother.
All right, Trump saved the USA. We are out here, ladies and gentlemen. We are out here. Want to say thank you to Forgiato for coming in live with us, showing us the vibe, and some of the.
It's my pinned post right there on that page.
There you go. Can you scroll down a little bit? Show a song. There we go. Trump saved the USA. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Forgiato.
Thank you guys so much.
All right. Well, that was a first. That was very interesting. And yeah. Hey, you never know. You never know what's going to happen when you're live. That's why we are out here. We're going to be on the ground. We're going to bring you the voices of the people. And we are here to bring you that energy, that vibe, and that truth and that honesty. And do it in a way that shows you what's actually happening without any of the corporate overlords, without any of the censorship, without any of the patina of somebody else running our program. This is what we're here for. We're just going to show you. We're going to show you the raw reality, the honesty about it, and truth resonates, right? Like the truth shall set you free, and that's what this show is all about. That's what Tucker Carlson's interview with Trump was all about. And here we go. Most watched interview on earth. And when Vivek, who far and away, by all available data, wins the GOP primary debate last night, Vivek's, speaking truth, spitting bars. That's what he's doing. We speak truth on this program, every single program. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the verse of the day today from Psalms 27. Though an army may besiege me, my heart will not fear. Through war, though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. Well, it does certainly seem like a war has broken out against us. We are fighting, and we are marching forward. Onward, Christian soldier. We will end here with, because Forgiato Blow went live with us, we will end here with one of his songs. Our favorite, the Targeting Your Kids song. Oh, man, this was #1 song when people were boycotting Target for putting up child predation displays for Pride Month. Just the #1 song in the country, thus proving that we can change culture if we put our shoulder to the wheel and we do the work. Again, march onward, Christian soldier. It's your boy Benny. See you back here live later today. It's going to be a wild one. See ya.
They put a target on my back, but they're targeting your kids. They don't even need to ask, cause you all know what it is. Yeah, that's why I keep it strapped, and I'm always by my beds. This agenda gotta stop. Yeah, you know we gonna win when they target, yeah, they target and target.